You know, when you're young, you probably really don't think about your bones, but you really should. You should think about them at all ages. Bones are going to last forever, right? Well, they may not. Patrick Zayas is with us here. He's with the Family Food Nutrition Program as an assistant. And what's important about the bones? I mean, what do we need to think about?
Well, like you said, bone development is important for people of all ages, children and adolescents especially. When you get to about 30 years old, your bone density is going to be about as thick as it's ever going to be. And then from there, you just want to focus on maintaining what you already have.
Does it go downhill from there?
It does, unfortunately. Hormones change, and then from there on out, you're kind of stuck with what you have. So it's important for children, adolescents to get their bone density as thick as they can. And then for people in their mid-40s, 30s, and then on into the later stages of life to increase it and keep it where it is. So that way, if they have a slip and fall, they don't break their hip or something like that due to osteoporosis.
Yeah, I know, and that's what I hear about when you get older, regretfully. But now, we have a lot of things we're going to talk about, but
Yes.
What role does things like exercise play in this? Does that help?
Exercise is a very important role. Specifically, you want to focus on weight-bearing exercise, so that is things that involve the force of gravity on you. So for instance, lifting weights, running, jogging, tennis, anything where you're upright and you're moving and gravity is on you. Unfortunately, things like cycling and swimming, you're suspended, so therefore those don't really count for bone development. It's great for exercise, but not necessarily bone
I do a
development.
lot of bicycling, things like that. Let's start with some of the products now. Let's start down here with the dairy. What role does dairy play?
Well, dairy is very high in calcium. It's a great source of calcium. It's probably where you're going to get it the most, but unfortunately, as you get older and people of all ages tend to become lactose intolerant, so therefore you want to switch from a regular milk, a fat-free milk, to maybe something like soy milk or almond milk. That have the same amount of calcium, but they don't have that lactose, that milk sugar that you can't digest, and therefore you don't have all the issues that come with lactose intolerance.
Yeah, now a lot of us maybe not know about what lactose intolerance really means. What does that mean?
Well, lactose is the milk sugar. So lactose intolerance is that your body does not produce the enzyme to then digest that milk sugar. So you kind of become gassy and bloaty, and then you have all those symptoms of lactose intolerance. But it's just something that happens throughout your course of your life.
Yeah. Now you have other dairy products here. A few more. What are those?
These are yogurts, two different types. One just a plain regular yogurt. The other one has a little bit of sugar in it with the flavored. And then we also have some cheese. Cheese is a great source of calcium. You want to stick to about a 2 ounce, which is about the size of two dominoes. If you want to visualize, about 2 dominoes worth of calcium. And then you get a lot of fat when you go above that.
And that's what we're doing. We're adding calcium to build stronger bones.
Yes, exactly. Calcium and vitamin D. But the vitamin D you're going to get from the sun because you're going to be out a lot. So that's just the calcium.
Some people
right
have
now.
to take vitamin D too. They say as you get older, you don't use it a little bit. What do we have here?
We have orange juice fortified with calcium and vitamin D. So whenever you see fortified on a label, it means that they've added a nutrient into the product that is not naturally occurring in it. So for instance, this is fortified with calcium and vitamin D. They add it because they do understand the importance of having calcium. And so they add it to your orange juice so that way you still can get those nutrients in something that you might, drink more often.
Every day.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to skip this here, okay? I want to get down to what's down at the end down here first, and we have time, we'll come back to it. Now, this is salmon, and then we have sardine. I love sardines.
Yeah, they're delicious.
Now, what's important about these when we consume them?
Well, these are kind of our protein sources over here. So the important thing to realize about the salmon is that you want to make sure that you have the salmon with the bones in it. If you just get the regular canned salmon without the bones, then you're not going to get that calcium because that's where it's coming from.
How do you tell it has the bones in it? Does it say it?
Generally, it will say on the label, but if you just flip around and look down here at the nutrition facts, you're going to look for calcium. You want to look for about 25%.
25%, okay. That when I was a kid, that used to be the neat thing, chewing on the bones when my mother cooked the salmon like that. And then we have another product here.
Yep, that's tofu. Tofu is a vegetarian or vegan protein source. It comes from a soybean, and it's very high in calcium and vitamin D as well. It's added to it, and it's another great protein source if that's your diet.
Okay, Patrick, real quick about the vegetables here. What do we have there? High in calcium, some of them?
We have two high in calcium greens. Right over here we have turnip greens, kind of common. A little bit more common maybe is the collard greens right here. Both excellent sources of calcium that you could add to your diet.
Okay, they have a high percentage, certain.
Yeah, this is about 15% of your daily value, and this is also about 22%.
Wow, eat your greens, in other words, at least these here. Patrick, thank you very much for bringing us up to date on calcium and strong bones because, especially like I said, as you get older, you think about it a little bit more. So if you're maybe about my age, maybe you're much younger than me, start thinking about your bones and start using some of these great foods and maybe some salmon with bones. That would be kind of neat, or maybe some extra milk and things of that nature. Otherwise, call the Extension Service, get all the information you need.